Chapter 2. The Silicon Dagger. The rain in New Delhi does not wash the city clean. It presses the smog into the pavement until the streets slick over with a toxic, iridescent sheen. It was 0300 hours, the wolf hour, when the biological rhythm of the human body is at its weakest and the mind is most susceptible to phantom terrors. On Risina Hill, the seat of Indian power, the sandstone buildings of the North and South Block loomed like ancient fortresses against the deluge, their floodlights cutting through the mist in cones of fractured yellow. Inside the Cabinet Secretariat, deep within the bowels of the Crisis Management Center, Secretary Ravi Menon stared at his reflection in a dark window. He was a man carved from the old wood of the bureaucracy, stiff, silent, and weathered by 3 decades of intelligence work. He held a cup of lukewarm tea that tasted of cardamom and anxiety. The city outside was asleep, a sprawling organism of 20 million souls believing they were safe. They were wrong. "Sir," the aide's voice was barely a whisper, but in the acoustic deadness of the room it sounded like a gunshot. "The National Load Dispatch Center is reporting a frequency deviation in the northern grid. It's not a fluctuation, it's an oscillation, a heartbeat." Menon turned, his eyes narrowing. "A heartbeat. The frequency is pulsing, sir, 49.8 Hz to 50.2, every 10 seconds. It's a code." Before Menon could respond, the room plunged into darkness. It wasn't just the lights in the office. Through the window, Menon watched the impossible happen. The streetlights along Raj Path died in a cascading wave, dominoes falling from the India Gate to the Rashtrapati Bhavan. The massive halogen arrays illuminating the government buildings flickered and died. In the distance, the sprawling residential sectors of South Delhi vanished into the void. The hum of the air conditioning, the constant subliminal thrum of civilization, ceased, replaced by the terrifying sound of silence and the drumming of the rain. The emergency red lighting bathed the room in the color of fresh blood. "Get me a secure line to the Prime Minister," Menon said, his voice terrifyingly calm. "And get the air chief. This isn't a power cut. It's an amputation." The logic bomb. 10 minutes later, in the shielded underground bunker beneath the Prime Minister's office, PMO, the air was thick with the smell of ozone and panicked sweat. The backup generators were humming, a low vibration that traveled through the floor and into the bones of the men and women gathered around the central tactical table. General Vijay Kumar, the Chief of Defense Staff, CDS, slammed a dossier onto the table. It's Red Echo all over again, but on steroids. In 2021, they targeted the Mumbai grid as a warning shot. We found the malware, Shadow Pad, and we thought we patched it. We were wrong. They didn't leave. They went dormant. The cyber warfare officer, a young woman named Captain Meera, typed furiously at a terminal that was air-gapped from the outside world. "It's a logic bomb, sir, embedded in the SCADA, supervisory control and data acquisition, systems of the NTPC plants in Dadri and Riand. It triggered at exactly 0300. It's not just a shutdown. They've scrambled the PLCs, programmable logic controllers. The turbines don't know how to spin down. If we try to restart them manually without the code, we risk blowing the boilers. They're holding the capital's electricity hostage." The Prime Minister sat at the head of the table, his face a mask of stone. "Casualties? Hospitals have switched to backups," Menon replied. "But the traffic signals are dead. The metro is stuck in the tunnels. The cellular networks are congested to the point of collapse. Panic will start at dawn, but that's not the target, Prime Minister. The target is the Northern Command's logistics." General Kumar nodded grimly. "Without the grid, the electric freight corridor is dead. We can't move heavy armor from the Punjab plains to the mountains by rail. We have to use road transport. That slows our mobilization time by 48 hours. They've hamstrung us before we even put on our boots." This was the brilliance of the Chinese strategy. Sun Tzu had written, "The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting." By turning off the lights in Delhi, Beijing had effectively frozen the tanks in Ambala. "What is the situation in Ladakh?" the Prime Minister asked. Depsang is a black hole, Kumar admitted. We have lost contact with the 81st Brigade. The optical fiber lines were physically severed, likely by sabotage units or deep penetration UGVS. The satellite links are jammed. We're relying on HF radio, which is spotty at best. But the last report indicated drone swarms and mechanized infantry moving across the wide junction. They aren't just patrolling, sir. They are digging in,